I mean, we loved him dearly.
Yeah, Nolan was like a brother to us, and I can say without a doubt, nobody wants to know what happened to him more than we do. I mean, we want to know what.
I mean, Nolan was like a brother to all of us. I mean, we loved him dearly.
Yeah, Nolan was like a brother to us, and I can say without a doubt, nobody wants to know what happened.
All right, after this, I'm probably going to take a couple days off because my brain needs a rest after the last couple of days. Now we know for sure that there was storage in the bow of the boat. All right, so now at this point, I am pretty sure that the Triton was there all day. They didn't switch out the boats. And I'm also pretty certain at this point that this is a real video because there's one single frame where you can see Bart's boat and you can also see the toes of somebody like dangling them off the water. So if the picture or video were AI, it would be a really bizarre thing for it to just kind of throw in. But there's zero question in my mind that this video has been altered. So then the question becomes, why would they alter this video? And the only thing that logically makes sense to me is to alter the identity of the two girls. Because if Carter is the boy in red, Wyatt is the boy in the American shorts, Bart's brother Brooke being the one in the navy blue shorts, and then Ike being the one in the teal shorts. Then we've got Warren up here with somebody in this red striped swimsuit and the girl in the teal swimsuit with the backwards hat. So in this picture, this would be Brooks, this would be Ike, this would be Wyatt, this would be Warren, which would leave this to be Carter. Now, whoever this is seems to be very cuddly with Carter. Like, too cuddly, in my opinion, for it to be like a mother or a family member. Thinking about it a lot from the timeline that we have been told, and what we haven't really been factoring in again is the party. Because remember, Warren said he went to the party, but instead of talking with all of his friends, he went upstairs to go talk with his girlfriend's dad. Now, those families are tight, so if that dad of Ava, if that conversation with the dad didn't happen, then they would automatically know that they were lying. So I've been saying for a while that the girl was somehow involved. And mind you, everybody's back on land now. They're getting ready to do the fireworks and everybody's swimming and drinking still, blah, blah, blah. So what's the excuse for no pictures at that party? They've explained it all away during the day, but at this point, they're all just being teenagers and having fun again, right? So I'm thinking that the brunette girl is Ava, the girl whose house they went to. And she's pretty close with Warren and the Pyrone family.
And they're full speed running. And then after that, I didn't see them anymore. I think you were on the boat. You start from there?
Yeah, so after we planed off, Wyatt kept the boat pinned the whole way in. We ran into the mouth of Fort Bayou, where we came from originally. And we turned into Fort Bayou, went in the channel, ran probably 500, 600 yards into Fort Bayou. Wyatt had jumped out of the boat, put the plug back in the boat so access water. So water didn't keep pushing and filling back the boat.
According to their own words, they went into the mouth and then they turned and they went about 500-600 feet. Now, mind you, the party house is right around, but they go past it and then loop back around. However, Warren just admitted that at some point they had to stop and Wyatt jumped in. And even then, you heard him stuttering over the story. Like, it wasn't a smooth transition because I think they dropped her off. Which would explain why they would go back to this party, because obviously they can't cancel the party. That looks really suspicious. Then my theory has always been that the guys all like broke off and like talked to the parents about what was going on, and that's when they formulated their whole we'll call her and then we'll call the Coast Guard plan. Remember, she is related somehow, I can't figure out, but she is related through marriage to the lieutenant that wrote up the very initial report we've seen. Because remember how Morgan claimed that the picture of the boat stuff was circulating around Snapchat and stuff, even though Christine didn't post it to her Facebook page until the next day. Listen to this.
His mom was, what was he wearing? And so we were trying to remember what color his shorts were. We couldn't quite figure that out.
I said black.
Yeah, I think we said black.
I really did. He was wearing navy blue shorts?
Yeah, it was like dark blue shorts.
Dark. I just said black because I was trying to piece everything together and help out.
And so at this point, we're freaking out. We don't know where our friend's at. And the girl that took the picture, she was like, okay, well, I just took this picture of today. This is what color swim trunks he was wearing. And his mom asked for that to post on Facebook to say, if you've seen him, whatever, this is what he was wearing.
So remember, the girl who took the picture with the digital camera was on Wyatt's boat at the beginning of the day and then was there with them at night when they were having this discussion. So she had to have been there at the beginning and at the party at the very least. Then we remembered that the original shorts picture, well, that wasn't the color of his shorts, as we now know. So we also know for a fact that this picture did not get sent to Christine until July 5th, meaning that they had to have had that picture and then not sent it to her for hours. Because they also said this.
And so that's what we sent to her, or that's what she sent to her, because we're just trying.
So they corrected themselves. He said, we sent it. No, she sent it. So then on July 5th, Christine said that they have been up for almost 48 hours straight. And then the very next post above it are the same pictures, but better quality. Why did it take so long to get these pictures to them? Oh, and y'all, now that I said that, I realize, so all of these pictures had to come from the same digital camera, right? Meaning this picture did as well. And since I've already proven that this picture had used AI to do something weird because, you know, there was no little bar here, only explanation for using AI on just this little part would be to obscure the reflection that was in this poll of the person who was taking the video. Or the pictures. Oh my God, yes. That makes sense. Love it when I figure that stuff out in real time for you on camera. So it makes sense to me that this photo video thing was altered to cover up this girl's swimsuit. Because let's face it, this swimsuit is the ugliest thing. It has like supposedly like sleeves and it's a tankini, but it goes like in a weird cut, but it's ugly. It's ugly and it's clearly not what these debutante beauty queen girls are wearing to a 4th of July beach party. So I'm like 70% sure that this is Ava. Oh wait, oh my God. Wait a second. Shown y'all guys before that there's 4 boats out here in this little cluster, right? But I'm looking at these weird pink lumps and stuff at the front of the boat, Bart's boat here. Is that a pile of life vests? Because I'm realizing there's not 20, 30 people on all of these boats. Like I'm seeing 10, 12 people here tops. Let's not forget what a full house looks like on these boats. Because even in this video at the meetup place, there's not 20, 30 people getting ready to get on these boats. I mean, the boat left at 9:56 according to the GPS. We got like 7, 8 people here, like 6 people here. And also, if they were legitimately needing to be towed and they were trying to get the water to run off, why are they all spread out on the boat? Why are they on the boat in general? Why didn't they just get off on land or get on another boat? Trying to get the boat to tip up and go planing, why do you have over half the boat on the front of the boat? These are experienced fucking fishermen. They know better than that. Yeah, I can't believe I've never thought of that before. If the boat was sinking, why are they even on the fucking boat? Yeah, and if it was so common and so easy to get, you know, rides back with other people, you know, strangers on Horn Island, why did they need to load everybody on the boat? Or were they yelling at Nolan to get on the boat? They didn't need to get him on the boat. And now that I'm looking at this, doesn't it look like Warren is on the phone? Could this have been when he was calling his mom 8 times? Also, one more thing that stuck out to me.
We called law enforcement. I was with Wyatt at the time after we left Jackson's house that night. I was with Wyatt and one person we were with saw that their location was actually headed towards Wyatt's house. And so Wyatt got on the phone with 911 and was like, hey, these people are on the way to my house or already at my house. My mom and my dad are there alone and they know nothing about this.
He stumbled over his words from beginning to end in that story, so I don't believe any of it. But the one thing that sticks out to me was the phrasing, they don't know anything about this. If people are heading over to your house, why wouldn't you call your mom and dad before you called 911? Because it sounded like he was trying to keep his parents out of the loop of this story, which as a teenage boy implies that you have something to hide. Just a lot of different things to think about, right? Katie dry snitched on those boys and y'all didn't even notice. Let me break it down for you because here we've got the Snapchats from Katie, right? You're gonna notice her teal swimsuit. Right here, we're gonna notice a striped swimsuit. In this video from the 3 boats, you're gonna see Bart's boat. And in this corner, you're gonna see a girl in a striped swimsuit right here. And then right next to her with the same hair is a girl in a teal blue swimsuit. Katie is on Bart's boat in this picture. But wait, they tried to be real clever playing with the lighting on this. Hopefully you got your brightness turned all the way up because you'll notice Katie is wearing a white hat. Now here we've got the picture from the tow, right? Teal swimsuit, white hat. Oh, but that's not all. Again, hope you've got your brightness turned all the way up because here we've got somebody in red swim trunks. Oh, and would you look at that? Red swim trunks. Here he is on the shore next to Nolan after the fight with Tristan. Now, I'm getting mass reported, by the way, so my page might disappear any second. Y'all remember the fight video? In the background, I found a man who looks suspiciously like Grandpa Jerry. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that it is him. I'm just saying. Seems to have a very unique, pectoral shape. And obviously this picture is from a couple years ago because there's Wyatt. But I am not done, folks. Because the same time she dropped these Snapchats, she said that she allegedly got a ride with someone named Marty McGrath between 5:34 and 5:44. Oh, and wouldn't you know it, the co-owner of the Biloxi Bay RV Resort and Marina in St. Martin is co-owned by a man named Marty McGrath. Here's the marina, and here's how far away it is from his buddy's grandparents' house, the one they went back and forth to like 4 or 5 times after they came in. But you may also remember from the report that after leaving the grandparents' house, the boat came southwest towards St. Martin's Bayou. Well, there's St. Martin, so I'm gonna assume that this is the bayou. Now, would this happen to be a Marty McGrath Jr.? Or was it the actual Marty McGrath? Mind you, it took 45 minutes for them to make it back from the grandparents' house to the boat launch. Mind you, that the boat ramp is in the opposite direction, only 6 minutes away on land. Katie girl, it's over. Katie, you're young, you haven't learned this yet, but these aren't your fucking friends. They are literally not worth fucking protecting, okay? Because they've all coordinated their stories, girl. You are gonna be the fall person. Do you want this to follow you around forever, or do you...
The timeline on paper looks simple enough. A group of friends out on the water, a sudden mechanical failure, a frantic call for help, and a safe return to shore. But the moment you place that narrative side by side with the actual movement of the vessel, the simple story begins to show its seams. Forget the disputed audio recordings circulating across social media. Forget the wild theories endlessly debated online. For a moment, look only at the accounts the friends themselves gave to Officer Tatum during their 2 formal interviews and compare those words against the objective digital footprint left behind that evening. Even without the internet speculation, the mechanical sequence they describe leaves behind a physical timeline that struggles to fit together. The official account. The core explanation remained essentially the same across both interviews. While anchored near Horn Island, the boat began taking on water. Warren later provided more detail, explaining that the bilge pump simply couldn't keep up with the incoming sea. As the water level rose toward the battery, the situation threatened to become a full-blown crisis. The emergency call appears to support that basic narrative. On the line, the group reported they were actively sinking and requested a tow. Yet, the recording reveals a curious detail. Coast Guard assistance was offered twice, and both times it was declined. Instead, the group opted to wait for a private towing company. On the surface, it sounds straightforward, but the picture becomes considerably harder to follow when the boat's physical movements are mapped against the clock. Jax recalled the call with Sea Tow International, remembering a dispatcher asking what felt like unnecessary questions while everyone on board scrambled to keep the vessel afloat. According to Jax, the group disconnected the vessel and managed to get the motor restarted shortly after the call ended. Yet, footage reportedly recorded around that same window complicates his version. The video appears to show a line already being pulled in while the call itself was still taking place. If that footage accurately reflects the timing, it raises an immediate question. Was the boat already separating from another vessel before the conversation with the dispatcher had actually ended? In the chaos of an emergency, memory is notoriously unreliable. Stress distorts perception, and people trying to reconstruct tense moments months later naturally compress complicated events. But the boat's GPS tracker doesn't rely on memory. It records coordinates and timestamps without emotion. The independent GPS footprint. 4:31 p.m., the boat departs Horn Island, ending its time at the anchor spot. 5:44 p.m., the vessel arrives at its original dock, seemingly ending the emergency journey. 5:52 p.m., just 8 minutes later, the boat departs again, heading toward Fort Bayou. 6:06 p.m., the vessel returns to the original dock a second time. 7:19 p.m., the boat is finally pulled out of the water and loaded onto a trailer for the trip home. This was not a single, continuous trip back to safety. The friends gave extensive, highly detailed descriptions of the mechanical crisis itself, fighting the water, struggling with bilge pumps, trim controls, hatches, and dying batteries. But once the boat safely reached the dock at 5:44 p.m. and the immediate danger had passed, that detailed account suddenly falls silent. The interviews offer almost no explanation for why the vessel immediately launched back out toward Fort Bayou, nor what was happening during the more than an hour it sat idle at the dock before being loaded onto a trailer. The logistical questions extend beyond the hull of the boat to the devices on board. During their interviews, several friends offered a practical explanation for the phones. Devices generally stayed on the boat to prevent saltwater damage, providing a reason why Nolan's phone wouldn't necessarily be on his person. Yet official reports from the Mississippi Department of Marine Resources reveal a stark contradiction. Nolan's phone was ultimately recovered from inside a friend's truck, not from the boat. Saying phones stayed on the vessel doesn't explain how a device ended up inside a land vehicle. Even the emergency call's most scrutinized sentence, "Everybody is on board," takes on a different weight when examined closely. Warren, Jax, and Morgan consistently stated that Nolan had chosen to stay behind on Horn Island with Katie Long before the bilge pump failed. If Nolan was never expected to return with that group, the phrase may not have been a statement accounting for his whereabouts at all, but rather a narrow confirmation that everyone scheduled to be on that specific boat was present. Still, the quiet window following the mechanical crisis remains the central mystery. As the boat made its second unexplained trip and sat stationary at the dock, a mother back on land was beginning to realize her son was missing. What actually occurred during those unexplained minutes between 5:44 p.m. and 7:19 p.m.? The mechanical narrative explains how they survived the water, but the digital record leaves the rest of the evening waiting for an answer.